Let's talk about what's happening on the India-China border. Things have not improved. Yesterday, we told you about China's attempted incursion in Ladakh and how the Indian forces thwarted it. First, China denied anything happened at all. Now it blames India for violating its territorial integrity. 5 statements in 24 hours. China has changed its story faster than some of its goods expire. Let's bring you up to speed. India and China held military-level talks today. No progress has been made on de-escalation. Yesterday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Beijing had little to say about the border transgressions. Nothing happened was their first response. But now China is blaming India. After the Chinese embassy in Delhi, Beijing issued a new statement today. The spokesperson was officially asked about the difference in statements about how China crossed the line first. Instead of explaining what happened, the Chinese diplomat began dishing out advice to the Indian media.
The Indian side may have a different statement from the Chinese side, but there can only be one fact or truth. Over the past 70 years since the founding of the PRC, China has never initiated any war or conflict. We have never invaded an inch of land of other countries. In fact, China's border troops have been strictly observing the actual line of control. They have never crossed the line. I think the Indian media can actually communicate with the Indian military. I think everyone should respect the fact and take concrete measures and actions in a kind of goodwill to safeguard the overall situation of China-India relations and jointly maintain peace and tranquility in the border region.
China has never initiated any war or conflict, she says. Let me tell you what China did yesterday. China engaged in another provocative action, and that too when the commanders on both sides were engaged in talks to de-escalate the situation. India has now asked China to quote-unquote discipline and control its frontline troops. And this is just one theatre of conflict. Another high-voltage clash is playing out at the United Nations Security Council. This story is about India's permanent seat at the UNSC. For 11 years, an intergovernmental group has been discussing potential reforms. But no progress has been made for 11 years thanks to Chinese roadblocks. India's deputy permanent representative to the UN has shot off this letter. It has been sent to the President of the General Assembly. It says the intergovernmental negotiations are being, quote-unquote, held hostage. The letter does not name China, but it leaves no doubt as to which country it talks about. The letter says talks on reform are being used as a convenient smokescreen by countries that do not wish to see any reform at the Security Council. Here's what's happening. Intergovernmental negotiations are informal. They're not subjected to the rules of the UN General Assembly. Discussions must happen in a formal setting for any tangible change. India has registered 2 clear objections. Number 1, there has been practically no progress in the informal discussions. And number 2, there's been no effort to capture the informal discussions in a single consolidated text, a text that can be used for formal discussions in the future. India's objections are backed by Germany, Japan and Brazil. They're called the Group of 4, G4, and they have issued a joint letter. In fact, the G4 does not name China, but China is the clear culprit. It is China that insists on sticking to informal discussions. And this letter is proof. It's been written by China's permanent mission to the United Nations. Just like the letter from India, this one is addressed to the President of the General Assembly. This letter says the intergovernmental negotiations set up should be rolled over to the next session of the General Assembly, meaning they should continue. China is not alone in this. An alliance better known as the Coffee Club wants to derail the reforms agenda at the Security Council. What is the Coffee Club? It's an alliance. It was formed by Italy back in 1995. The main purpose of the Coffee Club is to oppose expansion of the permanent seats at the Security Council. They do not want more members to become permanent members. Around 50 countries are said to be part of this alliance. The main players, and this is an interesting list, are Italy, Pakistan, Turkey and China. Now the group of 4, the G4, led by India, is fighting this Coffee Club alliance. We'll see what happens next.